Good afternoon and welcome. It's Dwayne Richards, making life simple. And I thought I recorded this video today. Today's topic is around direct sales and network marketing. And I put together the top 10. I don't know if it's the top, but 10 things to consider before joining um, a direct sales network marketing business. All right, so let me just put you on pause for a quick second while I load the presentation here for you. And here we go. Okay, so the reason it came up is one of my clients messaged me and I had a conversation with them about a week ago. An opportunity's come up for them, and they were just had some questions. And again, what qualifies me, a couple of different things as a licensed CPA, chartered professional accountant here in Canada, but also back in 2013, when I was, you know, discover experimenting, discovering, looking for something that's what's next. I actually got introduced to the network marketing direct sales world, 2013. And then over the course of kind of 10 years, um, I was part of about 10 to 12 different companies, mainly for the product. Never really being successful at selling or building a business with it, but they were some companies that had some great products that first off, I was a product of the product. So always remember is that you can simply just do that. You can just be a customer. It's okay to just be a customer. Not everything needs to be an opportunity or a business. So, let's get into it today. It's the top 10 things to consider before joining a direct sales or network marketing business. I know, super long title, and it's a guide to making an informed decision. And just a little extra piece on the front end is one of the things that I've learned since then is again, as I'm exploring more about human design and my own human design, is that I'm an emotional decision maker, and which means I need to kind of ride the wave, the high and then the low and come back up. And then kind of, it's the wait for 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, maybe 72 hours. Not everything has to be done today. And it's like if someone calls you up on the phone today and they get out your credit card and must do it today, that's probably not the right opportunity. If someone's giving you some time to make a decision, and it's good if you actually also know your human design. And you can go to My Body Graph to learn to get you what your human design chart is. If you want to put a drop message in the comments, more than happy to connect with you. It's knowing your birth date plus time and place of birth, and it gets you your chart. And in there, there's a section on that on kind of decision making. And my personal one is an emotional authority. All right, let's get to it. So why evaluate carefully? It's like that's why sometimes the businesses kind of get a negative. The industry as a whole kind of gets this because there's like there's like the quick things, and it's like, what if everyone just did their usual approach or a logical approach? Sometimes money and other things are more emotional. If we just kind of did what was logical, there'd be a little bit more like less negativity about the business. So direct sales network market industry presents a wide spectrum of opportunities. Some are legit and some are kind of more high risk schemes, pyramids. Not everything's a pyramid, but there are some, and it's kind of like cryptocurrency. Is like there's some good ones and there's some bad ones, and the bad ones kind of get more press. A hasty decision made under excitement or social pressure can lead to regret. And that goes back to that emotional. It's like on the really high, you're at a live event, sign up today, get this bonus, and then you kind of have that buyer's remorse. So, like I said, sit through the 24 hours or longer, and kind of just do your homework. And that's what this presentation is going to help you with. Take time to carefully evaluate any opportunity. Projects three of the most valuable. So it's your money, also your time, and and your relationships, friends and family. I'm sure there's been a few business opportunities that have caused some stress and issues when it comes to relationships in that business. So you don't want to be uninvited to Thanksgiving or Christmas because you're always selling, right? There's a right way to do it, and then there's other ways. And then the next section, again, we're going to talk about kind of 10 critical factors, but just do your due diligence, right? And we'll talk about that is one of the 10 things to consider. So let's get to number two. So the first one is around product, right? So it's understanding the product. And do you generally believe and use do you use the product? So I was with a company. I still actually I drank it this morning, Organo Gold coffee. And when I first joined that company, I didn't even drink coffee. I drank the hot chocolate, yeah, the tea, but I wasn't actually a coffee drinker at the time. So it's really hard to kind of tell people what you think of the product if you don't actually use it. So I always say, like anything, become the product of the product. Like, be a user. If it's skincare, if it's wellness, if it's protein, if it's shakes, if it's whatever it is, if it's legal services, if it's whatever. First, use the product and understand the benefits of the product. That's like any, like my opinion, it's like anything, but that's the especially for this one, right? It's like how can you use a product if you know if you're not a customer of it yourself. And that's why I always say most cases you can start out being a customer first before committing to join it as a business. And then are the business like from a number of different things is like, are they competitively priced? Is it overpriced? Are there many signals? Like again, it's not just, oh, I can make some money, but just do your research to say what other companies or products are they competing with, and does it make sense? Like, give it the smell test. Like if it smells a little fishy, it maybe is fishy, right? If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So evaluate the product and use the product, sample the product, talk to people who are using the product to get a good understanding of what the product or services, right? Also, there's service-based companies that are in this model as well. Okay, next up. We're going to go to the compensation plan. So again, it's okay to get paid, right? And that's kind of that we're talking about the business side of it. It's the opportunity to make some money doing it. So understanding how you earn the money. Are there, is there income from retail sales? Are you selling at retail? Are you getting people to sign up to buy through a website? And then like, if they don't continue to buy, is there a healthy plan? Is there kind of other additional rewards and bonuses and different tiers? And if recruiting the primary driver, or is it your own, like building your own customer base? So are you building a kind of a business and being a team leader and recruiting, or mainly driven from sales of a product? Again, there's different levels inside the compensation. Like you could have a whole PhD in just understanding comp plans. Sometimes, again, if it has to be so complicated, kind of makes you kind of scratch your head. If it's so complicated, if it's hard for you to understand, it's going to be hard for you to explain it to someone else. So simpler is always better, right? Keep it simple. And again, always calculate what's a realistic earning. So sometimes, right, we're not all going to be seven-figure earners, right? We're not going to be kind of like we're not going to be, there's horses for courses. We're not all going to be a um, purebred racehorse and we're going to just like hustle and grind, and also kind of say, but and we get into kind of like what's your like, are you doing this full time or part time, right? So part time people get paid like part time wage, full time people get paid full time wages, right? So it's like how much time and energy are you willing to commit to the plan, and it's good to kind of look at different levels to say, like what does like average person like first person, what's a realistic number for like the first 6 months to a year, right? And make sure that you're prepared to commit to that time to make it work. All right. costs. The other side, right? We always talk about, oh, we make some money, but it's always good to know what's the cost because there's always going to be some outlay, some money up front for the starter. So again, so what's the startup cost, right? Some of the jokes is like they should make it cost like $50,000 to join and free to exit because it's really easy to, it's like free to quit, but it's not free, not necessarily free to start, right? So what are the startup fees and if there's inventory required? So if you're selling retail, I have a client that has like probably carrying close to 20 to $30,000 of kind of cosmetics. That's a lot. That's a lot to carry. So understand the upfront costs, the starter kits, the enrollment fees, the mandatory. Is there a minimum auto ship? So again, lots of times like, hey, you got to be buying like 100 to 200 to $500 a month of product and put your credit card here and we ship you that product every month. Then what happens is quite common is you hear stories of back in the day when people would have a whole garage full of different auto ship products and they never got the product out the door and it just kind of got stuck with they got stuck with the inventory. So is there a minimum kind of is and how long do you have to go with the auto ship or can you turn it off? The hidden costs. So again, sometimes it's that ongoing training cost. Like, oh, you got to show up every week for this in-person training, and there's a registration fee. You got to go to the conventions. There's a cost for the website. So yeah, we would provide you with the website and the branding. There's some positives, right? So all the branding's done, all the structures there, the processes, the procedures, the product, all that's all laid out for you, which is beautiful. But there's a cost to that. And so sometimes that those branded marketing tools, the website, there's like a $30 to $50 a month ongoing fee for maintaining the website. And you kind of say, well, what's my break even? Like, how much do I have to sell just to break even? What you don't want to do is like you create this business to make some money and it becomes a money pit. It's costing you more money than you're making. No one wants that when they're signing up. All right, I think that's pretty good. Again, this is kind of a high level. It's not going to be answering all your questions, but just give you some of these key points to go back to whoever's introducing you this. These are some key questions to go back and ask them if they haven't already. Next up is the company reputation. And the great thing today with technology and ChatGPT and AI and just the Better Business Bureau and Reddit and there's different places you can just Google, just search the internet and say, hey, just do some research to say what's the company, who's the founder, what's their story, how long have they been in business? You could do some like credit, kind of not credit checks, but Better Business Bureau to say, is there positive things about the business or is there a little bit shady stuff about the business? Kind of ask, and where do they rank in kind of the industry, right? So there's industry publications that kind of rank like how long, like again, this isn't any specific companies, but like Amway and other companies like that have been around for a long time, right? So sometimes that gives you that stability. There could be the new kids on the block, but there's risks and rewards with being new. Red flags to watch is like just kind of searching that again, the active and past. Again, are they licensed to do business in Canada? So lots of times it could be US companies and they're not in Canada yet. That's not great. Again, just checking, is there any kind of customers, and always buyer beware, right? Looking for pyramid, like is there allegations that it's like income, it's like a Ponzi scheme, it's kind of money in, money out. And really you can just kind of ask around to say like even just check out now on like LinkedIn and other things to look up the leadership and just say what's the reputation uh, of the company. Again, do the same work that you would do for like a job interview, right? Okay, income disclosure. So it's always a request. You can always request and review the company's official income disclosure. This document reveals actual earnings and all participants, and it's common in the direct sales, and that out shows that only the top 1 to 5 generate meaningful income. So again, to say realistically, like what are the people making? Pay close to attention to like the median earnings and not just the average and factor in all the costs and kind of what are the percentage of active, like, yeah, there could be like X number of members, but how many are truly active in the business? So looking at that income disclosure document, if possible, always is helpful. All right. And then the next is kind of like your sponsors or your team, like who's inviting you, who's going to be helping train you, how long have they been doing it? If they just got introduced to it like 5 minutes ago, and is that kind of the best? Are they going to be? Yeah, it could be your best friend, but is that really the best person that's going to help you get through the learning curve? So again, who's your upline support? Are they available? Are they here to support you? Can you kind of host? Is someone hosting kind of group like weekly Zoom calls? Can you bring in like prospects and help someone do the presentations with you? Is there true mentoring in addition to kind of the other education programs? But is there a true mentor and someone who's again has a track record of building teams and mentoring and then being available and giving you the tools because they've been in that business or have done it before. Um, so valuable. I can just remember one of the companies I joined about like a couple weeks after I joined, like the whole upline all left for another company. And I stayed behind and it's like, oh, all the team that was here to supposed to be support me, like that, they were gone. Not great, not great. So that's why, again, when we put this together and kind of came up with these tips, it's things that I've experienced personally, right? So again, it's that kind of that team culture, the training resources, the assessment, the broader team, the environment. Is it positive? Are they kind of doing social things together? Is it really like a community? Review the team success rate. So again, to say, like, it's great to have this great culture, but like if no one's making any money, it's a bit of a problem too. And then just kind of what's the long-term retention? So how long have people been, has that been teamed together or is it kind of revolving door, new members, like people coming and going all the time, right? That's those are all key things in kind of understanding who's that because you can become a family, and you want to make sure that that's in place for you. Okay, next up, market demand. So what is the product? If it's so amazing, like why aren't there other companies doing it, right? So is there real customer demand? So is there in your area, right? So like there's always opportunities, but like is it something that you understand? Kind of Warren Buffett says like as an investor, he doesn't necessarily invest in something that he doesn't understand. I look back and kind of some of the companies like I was an accountant, but I was never kind of a health and wellness expert. So to having to talk about kind of the technical stuff of a health and wellness product was a bit of a challenge, right? And so also to say like, where does this fit with like, what does this fit with kind of what you do today? Is it something completely different? Like in your day job, you're doing this, and this is like way over here, and it's like kind of too, or can you blend it? Not necessarily like be at work selling stuff on the side, but is there kind of a blended of energy, right? So is there market set? So is it like, are they late? Like, is it I don't know, is it like another AI tool and there's already 12 AI tools in the market and someone's like, oh, I got this. I said, you're a little bit late, right? I was reading a book where it talked about at Kodak getting late. Kodak was a real, or actually it was Polaroid. So Polaroid, they had the Polaroid camera and they were just too late getting to the digital camera and then they were gone. They were wiped out. Yeah, they're still kind of like the point and shoot kind of camera now, but just from a company point of view, they missed getting into switching to digital. So you want to make sure that this company isn't kind of like the also where, oh, we're going to get into this space, and there's already a bunch of people or companies in that space. And can you make like who's the target customer? And where are you gonna find them, right? So is it do you have to build a whole social profile? Do you like using social media? Are you gonna do it in person, do it retail? Like how are you going to like where and how um demographics, the needs, the buying habits, like getting all of like really doing that a bit of like not a bit, like some real research before you join. Okay, culture and lifestyle. So does the company like is it aligned? Like values, like not to say we're like not it's like cigarettes, but like me personally, I don't smoke. I believe in smoke. So if it was something like, oh, we're gonna sell like e-cigarettes or something like that, or vape or something like that doesn't align with my values. So first off, what are your values? What's the lifestyle that you want? It's like, oh, every weekend we're gonna be at this event. I'm like, I don't like working on weekends now. So I'm like, I'm not going to be at an event every Saturday. Saturdays, like my weekends are for my family. So what's the culture? It's like, oh, we're going to be on this call every night at 9 o'clock. I'm in bed at 9 o'clock, so that wouldn't really align with me. So making sure understand kind of what that looks like up front makes it a lot easier. The culture that celebrates authenticity, mutual support, is it like long term, like is it a long-term plan, like well-being, like are we looking out for the best interests of our members, right? And then just understanding the time commitment to say, hey, yeah, weekends are weekends, and gotta be with us every. And it's like, I'm not sure if I can. What if I only want to do it part time? I understand part time is part time wages, but I don't know if I can make it like every Friday night. I don't think I can make it to a training session. And that's kind of like how. So really, before you get in, understand how much time and energy are you willing to commit for a good chunk of time, not just for the first month, but for the first year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. How long are you willing, like, and how much time on a weekly, monthly basis, right? Because it seems like kind of like every month end is like, oh, we got to close, like to make your numbers for the month. Um, does that work for you? So super important. Legal and ethical consider is it like yes, there are some legitimate ones, but sometimes again, if it's like high rate of returns, it's like probably it's again too big, too good to be true. Probably is, right? If the comp plans, and then what's like, is there some like can you get out? Like not that you're it's not a cult, like you're not going to be locked into it, but is there anything that you have to like buy out? Is there like if you leave, do you lose your compensation? Like, do you lose commissions? Like, do they hold commission back? All those things to really make sure you understand that contract that you're signing. Just gotta make sure not that you have to have it necessarily fully reviewed by a lawyer, but just understanding the other clauses, right? Chargebacks are a big one, right? So what if somebody buys something, sends it back, or someone comes and goes? Are you charged back any commissions or commissions withheld is a big one to make sure you know. So legal and ethical considerations, super important. All right. And then if we take all of this and come up with a score, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, understanding the product quality, the compensation plan, the startup costs, the company reputation, the income disclosure, the sponsors, the market demand, the culture, the legal, and just that gut feeling. And if you give that on a scale of 1 to 10, if the score is 70 plus, you're probably in a good spot. If it's below 50, just say thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for thinking of me. But it's no. It's okay to say no, right? And I'm gonna borrow this from someone. So it's either a hell yes or it's a no, right? If it's super excited, you're excited about it, it's this, and it's like yes, 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 yes. Then and if it's I would say if it's like a 10 out of like if it's got to be like 70's a little bit doesn't have to be perfect, right? So I've learned from my human design, I'm okay with 80%, right? If it's 80%, hey, it's good enough. It doesn't have to be 100 out of 100, but if it's kind of 70 for sure, if it's 50, it's a no. It's not a maybe, just say no, right? And then say, hey, but if you know of something different, or then you can put feelers out to other people to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, and I want to do something. Do you like? Are you aware? And just ask some friends and ask some people and find that good. I would say kind of that middle thing, that sponsor, the team, the mentor is super valuable. I would, but not to put more weight on that one, but me personally, from my experience, I would say that's really valuable. So that's it for today. That's kind of the 10 things to consider before joining or signing up or even considering joining a direct sales network marketing company. Hope you found it helpful. Hit the like, add some comments, share it with others if you know. So if someone's thinking about doing this, you can just share it with them and say, hey, I saw this really cool, I don't know, cool, but just informative, right? Informative based again on my experience of being in a number of companies over the last 10 to 12 years. That's it for today. Thanks again, and stay tuned for the next video.